Hi, this is Lisa Guthrie, and I'm at 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133. Oh, excuse me, I'm at Green Lake, and sorry, 98133 area is my apartment. But I'm at Green Lake. I'm about to leave. I was feeding ducks. It's quite nice. They're tucked in for the night. So I'm in Green Lake. This is Seattle, Washington, and this is USA. Let's see if you can see the ducks a bit more. Hi, ducks. I'll come back with bread. Don't be afraid. I can't see this because I'm having a pop-up of Google. But there are ducks somewhere in the scene. I think this camera is supposedly good, but it doesn't recognize light very well, especially the way it's set for CameraFi. One of the bums, I would like to point out that when I woke up, everybody was a zombie gang member. And there are actually people who believe and have put into practice that people own or various rights to royalties. And, they might think they own all lakes. Or, like one guy just was talking about, you spent a fortune. I definitely was gang stalked by people at 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133. Those are very dangerous people, and they have threatened to actually hurt ducks and hurt animals. I've been threatened for 13 years with this kind of thing. It's sort of like when you make a gang angry. Now, these bums have been threatening the English today, and I don't see them now, but there was somebody definitely in the area, and he was making threats. And then there were people walking by the bushes, which I'm not going to put up with anymore. Tired or relaxed or not, I'm just going to walk up to the bush area, and make sure they're filmed. And one woman or man, what was it? I can't remember now. I think male. He was making threats, and then I said something about on TV and putting people on TV, and he panicked. And so I'm actually going to end up with something that streams to the camera. The ones I found, though, are pretty low res, interestingly enough. You're streaming at 480. I think it is. You're streaming at a low res to get maximum usage out of your cell phone. It doesn't slow down as much. And also, I was reading something about my service, and apparently they bragged about 480. That's the video setting. You can set it higher, but it's going to be slow, and it might not even come out the way you think. So if I buy something that's low res that does stream right to the phone, great. And then I could probably stream it to the video card so it doesn't overwhelm my camera. Overwhelm the phone. I'll just stream it to the memory card. Or, keep pausing after a certain time and then having it. I would then, sorry, I'm distracted. There's some pretty things at the lake and someone's swimming. Sorry, I'm just also pausing to think and reflect about the gang members. Now, I've mentioned it before. You don't have to believe me, and you can think I'm insane, but you might then think 800 million people on the internet or in the world are insane. Might be even more. But I heard the gang member earlier, but I think somebody is using quite a bit of paranormal that I don't even want to say. And I will just say that, and some women paused just now. I think that there is some, let's just say they were using the invisible. You may think I'm crazy, but I also talk to you about gangs, and I get my information from the gang members' mouths directly. How? The form of threats, taunts. I also get information by what they did to me. And my arms are literally covered with glass. Oh, by the way, the pigmentation, it was caused by an acid that the gang members put in the water. They boasted that it's not a fungus, by the way. Sorry, this video keeps shutting down. I am wondering something, and I'm not an expert. So if you have a camera and you set it at a high res for filming, and it's, just a smartphone, and it's just a certain service that only goes at certain speeds, and the higher, well, here's the thing, the higher the res, the slower it will be. And so the more slow your service. So that low res camera that streams, it might not be so bad, because it sounds, and it's not the best probably, but it does stream to your phone, which is important. Not bad. So something that streams to your phone, you can put it on the video card. Hey, till you get, do you really want to carry around a laptop? Maybe a separate camera, but something that streams is pretty ideal. Now, I don't think the device itself, which is unfortunate, which we need to see more of those, and we will as time goes by, where the camera itself is set to stream more, right to Google, right to YouTube. YouTube, at least. That'll come. And see, I expected it. I expected there to be some out there. And I think there's one, it's called a Raptor, and it's got ads for, skateboarders are using them, and bikers. But people who bicycle or bike, because then they can affix them to their helmets or their shirts. And even a low res is better than nothing. But a higher res will get bogged down. By the way, if you believe in chakra and aura, I was attacked quite hard as I was leaving Elizabeth Gregory home. And I was attacked here. Oh, and a bum is talking about the devil and gets each ancestry or something like that. And they have been cursing England and Scotland and Ireland today, as usual. You see, the Americans aren't normal, and there was a curse put on me. I woke up, and everybody pretty much was a devil worshiper and a gang member. Just thinking of something actually paranormal. That's why I'm so quiet. There are actually allegedly creatures in this lake, and they're not just ducks and little minnows. There were some minnows earlier. They were playing in the sun. They were very cute. I wouldn't be able to see them now as much. They would be wise to come out because of the insects. But maybe they don't feed on them. But I don't see any. that there are caiman, allegedly, in this lake that people have dropped off. Well, it's no secret. I thought I saw something years ago. It was actually over in the distance, across this sort of inlet. By the way, as the bums are going by, they look like they might be normal. They're taking pot shots, like one just took spine. I've endured this for 13 years. These are all, well, Satan gave them this power. Look at ducks. It's very tranquil, in some ways very nice. It's bad, and they think not, and they think it's bad, and they think yes. So I think I'll get going. It's getting dark earlier. I'm not afraid, but it's sort of like, why press it all the time? Why press your luck? So dangerous. Hi, this is Lisa Guthrie. I am back at 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133. You're looking at part of my dinner. Oh, darn it. I had more bagels than I actually thought, but I was distracted by one of the retards that came to the lake. I think it was the retarded black Nazi freak and a couple of the retards from this building. So it would be possibly second floor, second window in. Very retarded males and a couple of retarded females came to the lake. They might have had other retarded maggots as well. And then when I got in here, the bums started threatening slavery, and the bums with the illegal surveillance that actually has been done illegally. One of the retardos called me a prostitute, or inferred that I was a prostitute, even though his ancestors are probably prostitutes. And even though my hands are scarred because I wouldn't be a prostitute by the same gang. So one of the bastards is definitely threatened. Hi, this is Lisa Guthrie. I'm still at 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133. And I'm in Unit 329. And all the retarded bloods, it's mostly bloods, they are threatening me with extortion, rape. There's a black male threatening, it's a black male, excuse me, and he's saying, oh, once I rape you, you're going to sleep all day, blah, blah. See, it's your typical black. Evidently, they can't get anybody unless they rape them. It's like the other guys in the building, they're so ugly and hideous, nobody wants them, so they have to either get a $2 whore or rape somebody. I'm on the left-hand side. This is a huge sort of bloods collection. And these broadcasts aren't meant to be professional at all. They're just meant to be an audio-video diary of what's happening in my life. That's what it is. And I don't try to portray myself as an expert. I had 13 years of experience. I turned in and one of the bums is playing Visit You. Nobody wants the stench-laden moron near them. These are torturers. They burned my hands with acid, urinated also. How did they do that? They put acid. I've really got to stop fiddling with the camera. I apologize, there's nothing to see. By the way, I do talk about the paranormal in these broadcasts. If you don't like it, just don't listen to the paranormal part. I'm telling you about morons that are gang members. Quite a lot of tissue and chakra was taken, including when I got home, and there were psychic attacks at Green Lake. That's redundant, Green Lake. But also there were retarded people that had come from this building or were their friends. And I believe I heard quite a few psychopaths, and there was a list that I read, including there was a whore saying, oh, we're going to sacrifice her. Another whore said, that's the voice of the devil. So you've got 132 million morons walking around. They're actual zombies. They took the fall with Satan 13 years ago. And my trouble started 13 years ago because about that time I was turning in an apparent meth lab. There was a dirty cop on the property. And then ever since then, I've been harassed and stalked, including gang raped, by bloods. And let me tell you, once you can't defend yourself against any kind of gang, like let's say there's a dirty cop on the property, like there was with where I was 13 years ago. Well, the Bloods and the Zetas and Asian street gangs, those are the ones I have experience with, and they often work together because they, one person might have one thing, another group might have another. It's not that I'm getting things from them, it's that they work together. And if I'm getting things from them, well, it would be like, oh, I go somewhere and there's a blood, behind the counter. That's not my fault. Oh, just like here, there's a black Nazi named Vanessa. She's at the front desk and she's a blood. And, that doesn't mean I'm a black Nazi lover or blood because I live here. It doesn't mean that I'm a blood because I moved to Aurora. And so, by the way, they're trying to exact tolls and, just sort of, not sort of, but actual extortions that don't even, like the reasons don't even exist. They're all fabricated, such as false relationships. Chest was just taken and attempts at packaging. Excuse me, I have to psychically attack back. So what I might do is actually make the broadcast shorter. It does include footage of the lake. So I'll send the footage off, and what I'll do is start over. Does that sound good? And I will be back, and I will tell you my story. But to cut a story short, I was harassed and harmed 13 years ago by a gang. Dirty cop on the property, about 132nd, 133rd in Aurora. And once a dirty cop blackballs you, the gang and the dirty cop will ruin your life, including to portray you as some sort of evil Nazi because you won't let black men rape you or Hispanic men rape you or retarded white people rape you and inject you with heroin with the black Nazis and the Hispanic Nazis or whomever. You're just, all of a sudden you're evil, and they might be sacrificing, which they are. I woke up and everybody was damned and doomed, and they were practicing devilments, and they were practicing Satanism, and they were sacrificing animals and bragging about it, and they have been ever since, and they just pulled out throat chakra, by the way. And I hope that every planet and every universe is able to see what these people are doing and who they did it for and what they did with my chakras. Why are they pulling chakras? They're dead. They've been dead 13 years. They don't have their own aura. They don't have their own spirit. They don't have their own soul. They don't have chakras. I apparently had spirit and soul and quite wonderful chakras, which are stolen all the time. But by the way, I just want you to know nobody in America has them because they all dragged everybody down to Satanism and Satan. But I also want you to know that they've attacked everybody in the U.S. And this is retroactive. So I will be back on, but yes, I think some of the bums, they followed me this evening, and I heard this retarded moron going, "Listen, I'm going to date you." And earlier before that, I heard one of the whores hiding behind a bush, and she said, "Use protection." And so, one of the bums is now talking about baubles or balls. And so what these bums are insistent about, and they're lying, and I'm not going to cave in to their desires. They're believing because they were able to get an edge over me, because Satan gave them an edge, that they'll continue along in that, and they've had so many advantages. So if you can picture someone being gang raped in their apartment, drugged, gang raped, poisoned, under illegal surveillance, sickened by people putting also these Bloods and Zetas. They have put viruses in my water or food, and they're also into it. They think they're magical if they smear their boogers on your plate of whatever, or maybe they're phlegm and they've infected you with a cold. So they think they're magical, but they're also trying to infect you with something. It's like also when they're urinating into your water or ejaculating into your water, and I apologize, but I have the profanity warning for a reason. They think they're magical, and they think that they're, quote, subbing you or subordinating you. So I will be back, and they've torn my chest, but just know they've torn every American's chest, and they've torn everyone's bodies to pieces.